Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And today we're going to be doing part 2 of every anime that I've watched since I got into anime. Let's get into it. So here today we got part 2 and there are 29 different shows to go through. And we got the same categories as last time, but let's go over them. We got all time, top tier, S tier, great, A tier, good, B, can't wait for more, or, well, they would be higher if it was completed, basically. Let's see. Will there be more? As it's one of those anime where it comes in, wows you, and then it leaves you on a cliffhanger expecting more, and inevitably it's been 5 to 10 years later and there's still no more. Trash. I regret watching it. Alright, so we have 29, let's get through it. So, Dragon Age Absolution, will there be more? I don't remember too much about it. I do remember a decent bit, and I'm pretty sure it left off on a cliffhanger. 86. I can't wait for season 3. My goodness gracious. I believe it's coming out next year, and I cannot wait. If I actually got into manga, that would probably be my first one. Then we have Eden. No, what is this? What the heck is this? Goblin Slayer. Good, but graphic. It is a good show, very graphic. I would be fine if it had ended at what it ended at. There's obviously going to be more, but if you don't like graphic scenes like violence or a lot of gore or just dull content in general, if you know, just watch episode 1 and you'll know immediately by that scene. Then don't watch it. Otherwise, it's a good show. Fairy Tail, for some reason I don't have 100-year quest on here, but Fairy Tail, great. Not all time, because it does go into the shonen of I have big tits kind of thing. But overall, it's a great show. The story was kind of like a modern live-action TV show where some of the main plot points were like underlying and slowly developing over the course of the show, and finally hit its stride at multiple points. That's kind of how it was. Eden Zero, can't wait for more. It's kind of in the middle of these two because I think there's more, but the second season did take like 3-4 years to come out. So I don't know if there will be more. I hope there's gonna be more because I think the manga is finished. I just want the whole thing to come out to give my overall finished opinion. It's about this kid who lives with a bunch of machines and basically they all fake a revolt or like fake going bad so that he will start his journey and just lead them because they know that they don't want to see him just go kaput because they're all about to run out of energy. Horimiya, all time. I normally don't like romance anime or shows in general. There are 2 romance shows I've watched, like pure romance. This is one of them. And it is just phenomenal. It is they just like instant connection, instant. We start dating and falling in love, and like guy spends, and it's like the trope of guy or girl spends so much time at the other person's house that it's just insanely ridiculous, and that's almost the entirety of the show, really. Um, it has a season 2, but it's mostly just the writers forgot to put some stuff into season 1, and it was just a bit weird. Erased, that's top tier. That's all time. Guy wants to reverse history and finds out who killed one of his childhood friends. That is the whole premise, and it is fire. It is 13 episodes, and it is finished. You watch 13 episodes, and it's done. It's all contained in that one short story. Basically, it's almost as if it's like a movie, really, because if you cut out the intro and the outro, it's almost enough for a full, basically like a 3 or 3.5 hour movie, and it is peak. Alright, Isekai, I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in The Real World 2. I think that's the full title. I despise titles like that, but it's good. Can't wait for more because season 2 is confirmed and it is coming out next year. It is great. He goes from this like weird dork dude and then just has a power up and just becomes basically like the hottest figure ever. We got Grimgar, Ashes, and Illusions. I don't think there's ever gonna be more, so I'll just put it in good. Um, it's like it's an isekai without it's an isekai show without them ever like showing up before or them getting isekai over. They just know that they were basically isekai or like don't have any memory of before. And that's and they just like go through and battle different dungeons, and it's more so a show about like the mental health of traveling through these dungeons and how they face and all that stuff. It's very different and it's very slow. And it's not nearly as much action as you might think for the most part. We got Masamune Comes Revenge. Surprisingly, the only two romance anime I've watched are both all time because they're both great. I think this one is officially finished now, and this is a slow burn if you've ever seen it for romance stuff. It's only 3 seasons, I think. It's only like 3 seasons, but it's like golly, the slow burn, and when they finally just inevitably get together, it's just like, all right, we got what is this guy? We got this one is Handyman in Another World. Will there be more? That's all I can say. It's like not trash, but it's not really that good. And it's very slow, and I just have a lot of qualms with it, so it's, you know. Hunter x Hunter, I'm just gonna go off the fact that the show will never continue because the author destroys himself and won't ever really finish the manga. Yeah, Golden Freaks, Killua, Kurapika, and Dr. Guy. I forgot his name. He is the least prominent of the four. But the first arc is Gon wants to become a hunter. And goes and takes the hunter exam. And then the world starts to continuously expand after that. And it's a great show. Unfortunately, it won't ever actually finish. But the anime itself kind of did a somewhat ending in and of itself. Like, ended most of the main plot points because after that point in the manga, it does shift gears and starts focusing on other people. Id Invaded. We got it's good. Former detective, now someone that they use for criminal informant type of thing. They have this thing called the Idwell, where it's like a virtual reality that they use criminals for, and they put them in there to help solve crimes. It's very cool. So basically, what happens is this detective's family gets killed, and he takes revenge, and like that's why he's in the position he's in. But he's called on these other new detective things and becomes the id person because, well, he's a genius. Plain and simple. Alright, we got Hell's Paradise. I can't wait for season 2 next year. Oh man. This is one where the main character, I can't remember and I don't want to look it up, but I'll do that another time. But Hell's Paradise, the main character and a bunch of other people are like prisoners, and they have their own like bodyguard, and they have to go and get a very specific set of items from this island that has these very powerful beings, and that is just insane. And the main character is there because he ends up being a prisoner for something he didn't do or did do. It's a very confusing way of figuring all that out. And season 2 does come out next year at some point, and I can't wait. How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. I don't think there's gonna be more. I would love there to be more, but I don't think there will be more, and I think the current 25 episodes is what it is going to be. And so with that knowledge, it is great. It takes a very, very, very different approach on isekai, because most isekai are like action based, and like when they go over to the kingdom to like retake it, they like go on wars and like conquering and like to get them back up. But this one goes it from a businessman mindset and is the first one to do it because it came out a couple of years ago, and it kind of resets and creates its own subgenre of isekai where he gets summoned there, and he starts basically doing it from the business side of getting them out of debt and rebuilding the whole kingdom to where it can be better overall. And it's very, very good. All right, now we have Jujutsu Kaisen. It's great, but it's also unfinished, and I think there's gonna be needed to be 4 seasons, and third season is just about to come out, and it's like been 2 or 3 years since the second season, and the manga ended last year, but it's still gonna take a while to finish. So it's like I can't wait for more, and I know it's gonna finish, but it's not gonna actually finish until like 2029 or something. So it's kind of like a pain. I know how it ends. I just want to see it animated, and there's also a sequel coming out that's actually getting to the point where it's arguably even better than Jujutsu Kaisen, which is JJK. And it's called Modulo, Modulo, Modulo. And it's like set in the future, and it's only 30 chapters confirmed right now, and it's absolutely insane. But yeah, curses, demons, shonen, yeah, it's 50 episodes right now. Season 1 goes here, season 2 goes way higher. It's just, yeah. All right, next up we got one of the big three, the only of the big three, the only of the big three, which is Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. I have only watched Naruto, and it's part 2. But this right here is Naruto itself, and it is good. It is part 1, and I do hold them like slightly differently because they are two different shows. But Naruto is a good show, and it's finished. However, Naruto Shippuden is one of my favorite shows of all time. I do make the distinction because they are two very different shows, and the animation style does change a good bit. Erased is higher than Shippuden on my favorite shows, but Shippuden just takes it up to a different level. And there's so many different characters and so many different interweaving character arcs, and you finally learn just about everything about the core crux of the show, and it's just, you know, Justice League. This is the original Justice League. This is what, with how James Gunn is making the new Justice League, the new like DC universe. This is why a bunch of people who grew up with this Justice League are saying this is what they want the new Justice League to be like, and he said he's like kind of basing it off, but like making it still his own. And so it's Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Hawk Girl, Martian Manhunter, and Batman, and they all form the Justice League. And every like arc is like 2 to 3 episodes, and it's like roughly 100 episodes. And I haven't watched the sequel, which is Justice League Unlimited, which is basically around the core with the new and ever expanding Justice League. Because the Justice League, like the Avengers, just keeps on adding and adding and adding and adding until it's basically over 200 characters, and you can't really keep up. But it's a great show. I love it. And it's fun. And can't wait to see what James Gunn does and includes for this. We have Hellsing Ultimate. It is great. Vampires in like the 1950s fighting a war against another faction. That's the whole show. It's rated for adults, and it's very good. Alright. My Hero Academia. All time. The ending kind of made it go down a little bit. It was not as good of an ending as you would hope, but it's still a good ending. But yeah. It ended at like 244 chapters. And I haven't been watching it because I watched it with a friend, and we're a couple episodes behind because we're waiting on the dub to go so that we can watch it all at once. And overall it's just it's a good show. It's just the ending aspect just like kind of brought it down a couple notches, and it's not what everyone wanted. Mech Cadets. I regret watching it. I watched it. It's on Netflix. It's 10 episodes, and yeah, I think it left off on a cliffhanger for one, and overall, it's just a very big disappointment. One Punch Man, good, because I'm not acknowledging the terrible season 3. I've heard that season 3 is bad, and I'm just keeping it at season 2. If I ever want to continue it, I'll just read the manga. Guy trains a stupid workout and becomes the strongest person in the verse, but doesn't get acknowledged of it, but doesn't really also care. Basically. Alright, Mashal, can't wait for the next season. Season 3 is confirmed, I know that much, I just don't know when. Basically, what if One Punch Man was in a world of magic? Because it's Mashal, magic, and muscles, but Mashal, the main character, has no magic and still gets let into the magic school. That's it. That's the whole thing. Alright. Pluto, greatness, just insanity of how good that show is. 8 episodes, they're roughly about an hour each, so it's a ton of hard work to actually get through. And it's a very dense and complex story, all revolving around these machines and a war from the past, and the machines dying off or getting murdered. Who knows? We'll find out if you watch it. Monster. Can't wait for more. Straight up. Guy gets isekai and gets reincarnated as a goblin and becomes very powerful. What a surprise. But it's very cool. And a lot of the characters with him just evolve as well. And he evolves like I've heard from my friend who read it. He evolved like 10 or so times, and he's evolved like 5-ish so far. Pacific Rim the Black. I don't really know how to put this. Really don't. I'm gonna put it in the trash. Well, no, I'll put it in good. There. That's the best I can do. I'll put it. I almost want to add a category for like it's not good, it's not trash, but it's somewhere in the middle, and it's finished. Is the problem. If you ever watched the Pacific Rim movies, it's that. And, well, that's basically the premise, but it's 2 kids that their parents tried to finish the war, but they get trapped for like 8 or so years, and now they have to find their way to civilization. Reign of the 7 Spellblades. Will there ever be more? Because I don't know there's ever been confirmation about more. I have no clue. Alright, yeah, Reign of the 7 Spellblades. There's these 7 special Spellblades. And it's at a magic school, because what other isekai wouldn't be at a magic school? Yeah, I mean, it's not an isekai, it's like a shonen, I'm sorry. Not an isekai, it's a shonen. Dummy. Our Last Crusade, or The Rise of a New World. Big Empire versus other Big Empire, they're clashing. And a princess from one side and a, like, soldier or lieutenant from the other kind of start falling in love but don't realize who each other is. And it kind of creates a clashing of what kind of world are we about to create. So, our Last Crusade or The Rise of the New World, season 2 is out. I haven't watched it, so I'll put it in can't wait for more. And then as far as season 3, I don't know if it's ever coming out. So, yeah. So these are part 2 of all the anime I've seen in the last 5 years since I started watching anime, except for this year. And so we have 5 in all-time, 5 in great, 5 in all-time already erased. Naruto Shippuden, Horimiya, Masamune Revenge, My Hero Academia. Then great is Fairy Tail, Hunter x Hunter, Justice League, Hellsing Ultimate, and Pluto. Good is The Graphic Goblin Slayer, Grimgar, Idwell, It Invaded, How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom, Naruto Part 1, One Punch Man, and Pacific Rim. Can't wait for more, and some of these are coming out rather soon. 86 in Eden Zero. G-Skill, You in Another World and Real World, Hell's Paradise, Jujutsu Kaisen, Mashal, Remonster, Our Last Crusade. Will there ever be more? Probably not, but Dragon Age Absolution, Handyman in Another World, Ring of 7 Spell Days, and Trash. Only one, Mech Cadets. Alright, so that's that.